Yeah, good morning everyone and welcome to the Morning Line on this Wednesday. It's great to have your company. Again, another little bit of an early start here on the Morning Line because it is time to check in with Dave Stanley as his Cozzy tour rolls on. Yesterday, we spoke to him at the Warilla Hotel down south on the coast there. He's since made his way inland. If you follow his social media pages, it's a pretty nice drive as well that he made yesterday, going through some really nice country towns as he headed to the cherry-picking capital of Australia out there at Young, and that's where he currently is, at the Australian Hotel. Of course, all part of this Cozzy tour, which is designed to get the country pubs and clubs involved with buying Cozzy tickets and see if we can find a winner from someone out in those regions, and then obviously to maybe find a horse or two that's trained around the traps that we can get into the Kosciuszko this year. And yesterday, DS promised us that he might have a special guest, not of the human form, but something else joining us on the program, and having seen his footage currently, I think he's made our wish come true. DS, you've got some pretty special, what do we call it? Not memorabilia, I guess, but a very special trophy at least, standing right next to you this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lewis, and good morning, everyone. I certainly do. I know it's a bit difficult to see in shot, but that is the top of the Kosciuszko trophy. Now, you know what? I'll pick it up in shot for you so you can fully see it. There it all is there in its entirety. The 2024 Kosciuszko trophy, all tick over $50,000 worth, $50,000 worth of trophy there, and the winner of the Kosciuszko will receive that. I can't believe they've allowed me to tour with the trophy. We're taking it all around New South Wales. The people here of Young at the Australian Hotel got to take plenty of photos with it last night. They were so impressed with the size of the trophy and just sort of, you know, the fact that something like that they see on television at Royal Randwick on a big day like Tab Everest Day, they get to see here at their local venue. And it then made people obviously want to go over and buy their Kosciuszko tickets, which are available right now for $5 because they want to get their hands on this trophy when it comes to the big ceremony after the races, of course, or that particular race come Tab Everest Day. It's going to be a beauty.
Rightly so there, Dave. It's an absolute cracker of a trophy. Hey, when you were speaking to punters around the Young area last night there from the Australian Hotel, were there any, mail floating around about horses that might be somewhat locally trained that they think might be chances for the Kosciuszko, or any other good stories floating around the pub?
There was a couple of good stories about previous years. A few punters here last night. I've got some horses with Matty Dale, and obviously they're quite keen if they pick up a slot to get front page selected, as I think pretty much any Kosciuszko slot holder would be straight away on the phone trying to get on to Matt Dale. A couple of stories I heard from the Albury area. It's amazing. Racing's a funny thing, and you would know this, and our listeners would know this, but you always know someone that knows someone. So you hear stories all across of someone that's either won a spot or they know someone who's been connected with a horse that's been in the race. And no one has come to me, and I don't think anybody ever will, saying, oh, gee, not a very good race, not a very good experience, because it is like nothing else in the world. And I know that I've said this on radio, and I've said this to you before too, Lewis, and I think I even said this to you in Kingscliff about, you know, being excited. I know we've got some great tradition when it comes to our sport with racing, and there's been, you know, some great moments and great races, but there is nothing quite like this race, and it is my favourite race because it's the only race in the world in our sport where anyone can be involved. And I had a great story that I think I told you about only a few weeks ago about a gentleman who bought 2 tickets a couple of years ago. He selected a horse. He then raced that horse and ran 4th. He picked up some money, and I asked him on air, I said, what did you do with the winnings? Did you go on a holiday? He said, I actually bought shares in more horses with that stable, that country stable, and he continues to have success today and have some fun. So from that little $10 purchase of some tickets, he's now then gone on to be a part of our industry and, you know, become like you and I think that is absolutely what this race is about and why it's so special.
Spot on, mate. That is the crux of this whole initiative, getting Everyone and anyone involved. You don't need to be a multi or a big owner, breeder, syndicator, anything. You could just be the average guy or girl at the pub picking up a few tickets there for the Cozzy and being involved on such a special day there. Tab Everest Day as well, trackside at Royal Randwick. Let's touch on the market again. DS, you mentioned front page, and it'll be searching for 3 Cozzies in a row, as we know, and is the $5 favourite. Clear Thinking we touched on yesterday with a whole lot of upside there at $6. Opal Ridge, $8. This morning, I want to take a look at the one down the bottom of that page, Cavalier Charles at $15. Now, you want to talk about horses who have been there and done that. Well, front page, of course, has won it. But Cavalier Charles in the last 2 Cozzies has never been far away. In fact, it's finished 4th in the last 2 Cozzies, DS. And how about this for a bit of a statement win in the Bellflyer, the aptly named Bellflyer, of course, who won a Cozzy in 2018 at Grafton. It really put its hand up and said, this year, maybe I can go 3 better and take it out. What did you make of this win?
A big win, but the trick to this win was the track. He'd been racing on tracks where he hadn't been able to show his turn of foot, and he did that on that occasion. He wasn't going to run in the Ramornie, remember? And then, of course, Dale scratched from the Ramornie because of the wide gate and decided to go to this particular race, and he just put them away. So he's definitely has to be in consideration when it's, Kosciuszko time. I thought Matty Dunn, when I spoke to him yesterday, made a really good case for Boom Talk, who's there on screen at $15. And I want to mention another horse, only because I met the owners a couple of nights ago at Warilla, a horse called Creon. Now, this is a horse that is a Japanese-bred horse. Danny Williams, who I've interviewed regularly about the horse, made the purchase. He literally walked into Inglis, saw a horse going around in the pre-auction walk, loved it, put his hand up. It was one of the most expensive horses he's ever purchased, Creon. Now, I found out from Danny and the owner that they're going to go to a trial this weekend, and then they're going to go straight to a Class 2 Randwick in 2 weeks, a Class 2 highway, and hopefully wins well, and it will be on the Kosciuszko radars. Creon's in that market as well. But they're the sort of stories. I had Brett Kavanagh on talking about La Melody yesterday after its good run behind our Cobison. So whilst Cavalier Charles was impressive there, I do think the track has a big role to play with him, because if you do get that sort of softish track, he can't show that electric turn of foot like we saw there.
Looking at the form of Creon, if you go back, punters, on the Racing New South Wales website, go and watch the debut win at Gundagai back on the 17th of November last year. To ensure I don't get fired here, Dave, I'll just say that it bolted in, but I could use other words if I wanted to. And as you mentioned, it's going to that trial. I wanted to mention another one, and I guess that the point of this whole story, punters, is that go and do your form as if you're going to win a spot in the Kosciuszko. I was looking through the market yesterday, DS, after you mentioned, don't forget Jack had now been acquired to run in a Kosciuszko. I found another one, and it's for the Matt Dale yard. Its name is Do Ya Punk. It's an ex-Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. horse. Hasn't raced in almost a year. It's now with Matt Dale. This horse, if all things are well, has genuine Saturday Melbourne form behind some really smart types. And I can't wait to see it maybe hit to the trials. It's $101 into $51 in that Kosciuszko market. So while the big names are flashy at the top, and rightly so, I think there's a lot of hidden value in that Cozzy market that you can really dive into and try and find, as we've just highlighted there. So, DS, probably a good time to tell people, if they are doing form as if they're going to win a spot in, where can they buy their tickets?
Well, it's quite simple, Lewis. You can head to the Tab app, you can get on the website, or get down to your local, whether it be a pub, club or agency. You can buy with mates. $2 million up for grabs. And, of course, Saturday, October 19th, the big day, you get to go to Randwick. Now, just take note, ticket sales close down the bottom there. The 9th of the 9th, take note, at 11:59. So, and register your tickets. If you do buy them at your local this afternoon and you do get the paper ticket, big suggestion to register them, because sometimes, as we know, the paper can fade. Things can be lost all the time. So if you register them, there's no drama of that happening, and you'll be able to get to go to Royal Randwick. And well, before actually getting to Royal Randwick, you'll be able to negotiate, get your horse selected, and then away you go. And I've been chatting to a few of the previous winners on radio, and some of the stories they've been telling me about the day. just extraordinary. So if you do get that opportunity of a lifetime, you're in for one hell of a day on the 19th. And just away from the Cosy, that day, we talk about big racing days, and if you're going to be in and around the next couple of hours young, call into the Australian Hotel. Fantastic. One of the best feeds I've had on the tour, I just want to point out, Lewis. One of the best feeds I've had, and I'm pretty good on the tooth, so I can give you a strong tip there. I can't tip you one today at the Kenzo, but I can tip you the feed last night at the Australian Hotel. But we're going to give away some Kosciuszko tickets. So you'll be able to get your hands on them today, this morning, if you do come down to the pub and call in. But that day now looks like, well, you're definitely going to have the Tab Everest. The King Charles, of course, will be on, so some of our best weight for age stars, and the King himself probably will be there. So it's going to be one of the biggest days of racing, probably this racing season at Royal Randwick, and you want to make sure you've got a front row seat.
It's going to be a very special day. Punters, go and get down to Young, see the trophy. Maybe DS will give you an autograph or two as well. Appreciate your time as always, mate. We'll catch up with you again shortly as the tour rolls on.
Great stuff, Lewis, and look forward to seeing you later on. Next week, for those that are up in that Hunter region, Cessnock Monday night, broadcast there on Tuesday. We're going to be in Tamworth, and then we're also going to be at Foster Tuncurry. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the socials for our locations and where we are, and come and see us.
Beauty. We'll catch up with you on the morning line then. Big thanks to Dave Stanley there live this morning in Young with the Cosy trophy by his side. Go and see it, punters, if you're around the area as the Kosciuszko Tour for 2024 rolls on. We'll take you to a break here on the morning line.